The Sentinels are out of the NA LCQ and have sort of been unfairly criticized even though they're really close to winning versus the 100 Thieves. To be fair, some people are just trolling the most popular team in North America and aren't really being serious about it. But the Sentinels' loss looks a lot better now that the 100 Thieves rolled over Cloud9, FaZe, and the Guard. As a tribute to the Sentinels roster that we may never see again, I'll be making a 3-part series that will break down what went wrong for the Sentinels versus the 100 Thieves. I will also explain why it was so close for the Sentinels to beat the NA LCQ representatives, and why it actually could have been them. Welcome everyone, and thank you to all of you who have been supportive of my channel. My name is Philosopher, and without further ado, let's dive right in. Before we get into the more complicated reasons as to why the Sentinels came up slightly short of beating the 100 Thieves, let's look at one of the more unfortunate reasons why it was an uphill battle for the Sentinels: the pistol rounds. The Sentinels won 1 pistol round out of 6 in their entire series versus the 100 Thieves, and that's the one map that they happened to win. Sure, winning the pistol round in Breeze might not have made a significant difference, although you never know with how economy can snowball in Valorant. But winning 1 pistol round in Haven could have made all the difference for the Sentinels in this series. Although it's not guaranteed the Sentinels would have won in Haven had they won a pistol round, it's easy to imagine that they would have had a great chance in doing so. You can see how luck was quite a factor in the first pistol round as Asuna turns into Lee Sin and wins the Battle of the Blinds versus TenZ. They were fully blind, and they were both kind of spraying their pistols, and had TenZ gotten the kill, it would have been an entirely different story, especially because Asuna's nade kills Shroud later on. Moreover, Chamber is just OP during pistol rounds in the current meta, and losing TenZ for free was really costly for the Sentinels on both of their pistol rounds on this map. 100 Thieves barely win the first pistol round, and you can make an easy argument that this was one of the deciding rounds for the 100 Thieves ultimately taking this map. The second pistol round was a completely different story though, as the 100 Thieves cleanly outplayed the Sentinels. For what it's worth, it's important to note that the 100 Thieves were a very strong pistol round team coming into this series, having won 8 of their previous 12 pistol rounds before meeting the Sentinels, and thus deserve all the credit for having won most of the pistol rounds this series. That being said, it's not like the Sentinels were a bad pistol round team themselves, and in fact was a strong pistol round team, as they won 7 out of their 10 previous pistol rounds before meeting the 100 Thieves. So it's quite unfortunate that they couldn't win one in Haven, and winning just 1 pistol round could have really made all the difference in the world. Next, let's take a look at some of the strategy calls that Sentinels pulled out during their match versus the 100 Thieves, in context with the team composition they chose to run. I've criticized the Sentinels' 3 initiator team composition already before against the Guard, and I must do it again. As I said before, it's not because the team comp can't work in itself, and I truly believe that any kind of team comp can work. It's just that they all have different playstyles and underlying conditions in order for them to work. For example, if you have 5 people on your team that are all mechanically gifted but don't have great game sense, the best team comp for those 5 people might just be running 5 duelists. So when someone says the Sentinels needed a duelist, or this, or that, it's really not taking into context what kind of players the Sentinels had, and the type of playstyle they wanted to execute. That being said, I do think the Sentinels came up short in optimally utilizing their team composition as they pull out an interesting yet questionable combination of play calls during their offensive half on Breeze. The Sentinels basically decided to run it down towards A site for 7 straight rounds, with 6 of those rounds using practically the same Viper wall setup. Not surprisingly, the 100 Thieves began to get a read on this tell, and they were able to get a crucial round 17 victory to stop the Sentinels' small win streak on a light buy. To be fair, it's not like the Sentinels were doing the exact same thing, as they were throwing out alternate looks by using utilities differently on various sides of the map, while executing towards A site with a diverse tempo. This was the same for round 17, even though the 100 Thieves were on a light buy, as the Sentinels did their due diligence before executing towards A site. They also probably thought that it didn't really matter if the 100 Thieves stacked towards A site because of their significant firepower advantage. The problem, however, has a lot to do with how the Sentinels decided to execute their A hit. As you can see, the Sentinels don't have any duelists to gain ground fast, or basically anyone to follow up their powerful initiator skills. The strengths of this team comp is that they gain intel and space with 3 initiators, which naturally means that Sentinels should try to gain as much space and intel as possible when executing towards an A site. Yet for some reason, the Sentinels decided to group and run it down through a relatively tight space instead of attacking from multiple angles after using their initiator skills to gain a lot of ground. The stack execute doesn't go optimally either, as we'll soon observe. So the Viper wall goes up, the KO knife gains info that no one is near right pyramid, or playing close, the KO molly sort of clears left pyramid, and the Sova's dart gives info on backside near yellow. So the Sentinels should have this window of opportunity to push up and take space, especially as the time is beginning to run out. But for some reason, no one runs out when these intel skills go out, except the one person that probably should stay back, which is the controller in Shroud. This problem is further escalated when Shazam decides to drone, when the Sentinels already use a lot of their skills to clear a lot of the close angles that are the immediate threats to them from gaining space. Meanwhile, Zelsis runs back in towards Cave because he gets scared of Derek's dart, while Shroud and Tens are both walking towards the left side with poor spacing. Imagine if Tens was the first one in. And just imagine Tens in Viper spot and vice versa when Asuna pop flashed over Viper wall. Tens would have been able to teleport out, while Shroud can hide near bricks so that Asuna can't get a free kill and get out. And this was really big because the kill that Asuna got onto Shroud gave him his KO ultimate, and this ultimate really bothers the Sentinels from making an easy push towards site. Which, in hindsight, they should have made a push anyway when the triple initiator skills went out. These mistakes really aren't on any one player. It's more that the Sentinels as a team don't appear to be on the same page, as technically you can try to pull off a really late but dicey execution. Ideally though, you do want to make a move towards a site with some time left on the clock so that you aren't forced into doing things, as well as at least attacking from 2 different angles by having 1 or 2 people attack from halls or doors. They must do some sort of split to maximize their utility potential, as you can see how a lot of these initiator skills can get a little bit too overlapped, and I think it would have been a lot better if Dapper sort of lurked through mid towards doors instead of just watching flank. I do get the idea in that you don't want to do anything too alone when the enemy team is on a lighter buy, because the person that is alone might be isolated and end up giving a gun over to the other team. But at the same time, if you think about the team composition of the Sentinels, you shouldn't be trying to group up, stack, and have a late execution towards a site. If you wanted to have that as an option, then you must have a duelist. And considering how the Sentinels didn't really have that much time to practice together, I don't think it was ideal for them to go for all these triple initiator team comps. Having a duelist really makes some of your on-the-fly executions a lot simpler, and just having that option in itself might have helped the Sentinels win a round or two that they kind of screwed up by not knowing what to do. Finally, to finish the first part of this 3 series of videos, we must give credit to where credit is due once again. The 100 Thieves just were the better team on this day, and I want to highlight one player who I think really put the nail in the coffin by coming up huge for the 100 Thieves. And that's Derek, who's been having a phenomenal run so far in the NA LCQs, especially during clutch moments. Look at round 11 during their Breeze matchup and the decision for Derek to go for a long flank. While long flanks always require your teammates to pull their weight by buying enough time, the situation was looking dire for Derek as Stellar and Will fall rather quickly. Asuna guesses one, but gets quickly traded out and Bang follows soon as Celsius picks him off. Meanwhile, however, Derek not only finds a free kill onto Shroud, but also a kill onto Tens. It soon becomes a 1v2 situation for Derek, with the bomb plant spot not really in favor for him. Yet he comes up huge by winning it out, ending the round with a 4K. This round was so big, huge, immense, vast, just gigantic, titanic for the 100 Thieves. Not only because this should have been a win for the Sentinels, but also because it broke their economy, and this gave the 100 Thieves a colossal advantage for the next round. Without Derek, it easily could have been a 7-5 for the Sentinels going into the second half. That does it for this video and the first part of this series, and I'll be back soon with more videos on the Sentinels versus 100 Thieves, particularly one more on what went wrong, and one on why there's a good reason to remain hopeful for the Sentinels' future. Thank you guys again for watching this video, and if you liked it, please like, subscribe, comment, and all that good stuff. And until next time, see you guys later.